Hello and welcome to today's reading of My Hero Academia fanfiction. Today we will be reading my Emergency Cuddles by RDM Fave Clips. The summary is Midoriya's fight with Overhaul made international news as the fight went viral. An international hero is not happy when he sees it, so he decides to make sure that Midoriya is okay with his own eyes. Disclaimer: neither of us own any rights to the My Hero Academia franchise. Story begins. If anyone were to ask how to describe Midoriya Izuku, they would say he's a hero fanboy, intelligent, a caregiver for everyone, an amazing friend, a crybaby, and a mumbler who is always doubting himself, and doesn't ask for help from hardly anyone. If someone were to ask to describe the UA student hero in training, Deku, though they would say he's a great on-the-spot analyst, confident, a quick planner, a powerhouse, a self-sacrificing idiot who refuses to give up, and someone who has an incredibly high pain tolerance. To those who only knew Midoriya Izuku as a weak, crybaby, quirkless kid from middle school, they were surprised to see the same kid fighting that monster of a Yakuza boss in the air with a terrified child on his back, but giving off the sense of confidence similar to All Might. In fact, they still refuse to believe that is the same kid who was their punching bag for primary and elementary. To those who only knew the hero student, they would say that they were terrified of losing their friend and fellow hero way too soon. That he went above and beyond plus ultra for a first year who had just received their provisional license. To those who knew both, there were mixed feelings. The spark of jealousy ignited in Bakugo Katsuki, who had always believed that he was the best of the best. But Midoriya is already 5 steps ahead of him. Bakugo knows he is on thin ice from Principal Nezu and Aizawa Sensei. From his unsanctioned fight that he forced Deku to go to, and his other vicious assaults on Deku. To Midoriya Inko, it was a wake-up call that ever since she heard her son was quirkless and all of the bullying that he received, she had not been the most supportive parent. It was all because she molded herself into society's views of what it took to be a hero that she forgot there were different kinds. She was even married to one who encouraged Izuku's dreams, even with his quirkless status. They had so many fights over Izuku, from the bullying to enrolling him into an online school to training him how to fight. Izuku very well could be the first quirkless hero if only she believed in him as much as her husband did. She sighed as she knew UA was going to be receiving a visitor soon, whose attention would only be focused on Izuku and see everyone else as a threat. Izuku's very own favorite hero, because All Might was really his third favorite hero. The other two were underground heroes, and Izuku respected their status of not wanting merchandise or being well known. "You were right, dear," Inko said to a very old family photo. "Izuku has already made himself a beloved hero to 2 children, and who knows how many more hearts he'll change." Principal Nezu had just gotten off the phone with the Guiding Light Hero Agency. and put in a visitor pass for the international hero torch, when the said hero was already outside the school's gates. Netsu's tail swished in glee as Torch walked through the gate without a guide. Let's see if Torch can find his son without help. Plus, I can't wait to see their reactions, Netsu said. If you think you can be a successful international hero, limelight, or underground, and still have a family, toss that dream out. I'm not saying it's impossible, but very few international heroes have been able to have both, Aizawa said at the start of the lesson. There are 3 main reasons why. Can anyone tell me those reasons? Aizawa doesn't know if he should be surprised or not that 2 of his students raised their hands. Ayama, who was a maybe since he is from France, and Midoriya was unexpected. But Midoriya was unexpected. Then again, Midoriya did love heroes, so did that love go further than Japanese heroes? Ayama, said Aizawa said. Give me one of the reasons. The time zone difference. Lets no one get any beauty sleep when they are trying to communicate, Ayama said with a flourish of his hand. The time zones do make it harder, but that is not one of the reasons, Aizawa said. Midoriya? Just like with limelight and underground heroes, international heroes have their own set of laws that they must follow. One of those laws is that the hero's family cannot go with them to a different country if the hero's agency accepts a case in a different country. Aizawa wrote it on the board. Family unable to accompany to missions country. Correct. Did you want to try your hand at guessing the other 2 reasons? Aizawa said. It's not a law, but most international heroes cannot have open communication with their family or leave behind any type of trail to their families. Letters, phone calls, emails, child support payments, or checks. Anything that could lead a villain or organization to the family. If there is a trail, then it could put their family at risk and could jeopardize the hero's ability to act during a mission. In fact, some of the well-known heroes, like the French hero Revolu and the Russian hero Brizzy, are some examples. Revolu was a limelight hero, and the villains were able to trail her family thanks to her writing to her family, especially to her children about the sights she's seen. Brizzy was an underground hero who kept to himself in the hero community, but because he kept sending money and letters to his father to help support his ailing mother, the organization that he was busy tracking killed his parents while he was out on a mission. No open communication or money was written on the board. Try 3 for 3, problem child, Aizawa said. Ch, Bakugo mumbled. Dude, Midoriya just rambled off 2 international heroes like they were Japan's own heroes, and I'm slightly terrified, Dark Shadow said to Tokoyami. The family is going to have to accept that the hero will always be holding secrets about when they are. The door up to the classroom slid open, shut with a bang, and a yelp came from a couple of his students. A screech from Dark Shadow, and then an oof, all before Aizawa could turn his face to the door. This is fine, I guess, Midoriya said from further in the classroom than where his desk is at. But in the back of the classroom, coming home, or why they can't make it to events. This usually leads the family to believe that the hero is having an affair or doesn't love them anymore. Aizawa turned around while Midoriya was talking and saw that all of his students were turned towards the back corner of the classroom. Mineta was on top of his desk. Kaminari had fallen out of his desk. Todoroki had stood up and his fire quirk activated, and Mina's desk was dissolving in some of her own acid. But Midoriya was no longer in his seat. In fact, he was the reason why the whole of Class 1A was staring in the back corner, where he was currently sitting in someone's lap. A dark green, almost black in the shadows, scaled tail was thumping against the ground in a rhythm. Aizawa could almost swear that Jiro mumbled, his tail is matching Midoriya's heartbeat, under her breath in awe. An arm was wrapped around Midoriya's waist, pressing the student tight against the tall man's chest, with a clawed hand pressed against Midoriya's chest over top of the heart. A dragon head was matching scales as the tail had its own snout, buried snort. I don't know. A dragon head with matching scales, as the tail had its snout buried inside Midoriya's green curls. Toxic green eyes had dragon-like pupils dilated and was eyeing the room with suspicion. "Can I at least grab?" Midoriya said. A snout and two plumes of gray smoke came out of the nostrils and cut Midoriya off. "Oh, okay," Midoriya said. I'm perfectly safe, everyone. So, Todoroki, if you could please not try and light up the fire dragon with your fire or cause him to hibernate with your ice, that would be amazing. And, don't try to come near me or attack right now. He sees you as a threat to my life and will attack you. He won't really get in trouble for it because you have been warned about the consequences. "Oh, I remember Hado-senpai talking to Ryuko about this," Uraka said. "He is in his dragon mindset and wanting to protect what he considers to be his horde, right? You can tell by the pupils and how far they are dilated." "Yes, that's correct. So, he's protecting a part of his horde, and anything that moves within his tail range will be seen as a threat until he comes out of the dragon mindset," Midoriya said with a nod. Aizawa could appreciate the explanation right now, because he was sure almost his whole class was ready to fight. But did he really watch his captured student snuggle further into the dragon's chest? And did the dragon really make a murring sound at it while nuzzling Midoriya's hair? "What the hell, Deku?" Bakugo yelled, getting out of his desk. He stomped his way over with his quirk activated, causing small explosions to go off in his hands. "Why the hell is your shitty father here when he left 11 years ago to get your useless, quirkless ass some shitty milk?" Aizawa blinked. Quirkless? Did he hear that right? The man's tail stopped thumping and coiled itself as Bakugo got closer. A growl could be heard from the man as his eyes focused on Bakugo. "After the way you treated me, what makes you think I'll tell you everything about my life?" Midoriya said. "However, you really shouldn't get closer." "Shut up, Deku! Do you think you have the right to tell me what to do? Bakugo yelled, and Aizawa got ready to throw his scarf, only for Bakugo to get slammed into the window by a tail. Midoriya curled farther into the man's lap, curling his legs up as the man growled at Bakugo, with more smoke coming out of his nostrils. Aizawa could see some embers escape the dragon's mouth, which didn't terrify Midoriya at all. The tail curled back around Midoriya and started to thump against the floor again, while the man huffed. Ida, Todoroki, since my father won't let me go, would it be possible to borrow one of your guys' notes? Midoriya asked. Of course, but are you sure you're okay? Ida asked. Midoriya is perfectly fine, Netsu said, coming out of the vents and landing on Midoriya's desk. The principal's surprise visit caused Kaminari to scream again as he fell back down onto the floor. Bakugo, this will be your final warning. You just tried to attack Midoriya, unprovoked again, along with a pro hero, so you will be serving a week's worth of detention supervised by me. Excuse me? Bakugo shouted, getting in the animal's face. That shitty nerd's father attacked me. He's a goddamn deadbeat. He never supported... Midoriya rolled his eyes. I gave you 2 warnings, Midoriya said. Aizawa-san, please go ahead and continue your lesson, Netsu said. Midoriya-san does have permission to be here. I didn't think he'd find his son so soon. I'll go ahead and let the other teachers know about Midoriya's predicament. Netsu disappeared into the vents, ignoring Bakugo's shouts of being ignored, and Aizawa sighed. It would have been nice to know about this ahead of time, he said. You and me both, Sensei, Midoriya said. The bell had rung for classes to be dismissed, and Aizawa returned to class 1A to see Midoriya still in the back corner, the man's snout buried even further into the green hair as the clawed hands were playing with the curls. The pupils weren't as dilated as they were before. Why did you suddenly drop broccoli and a mint into my lap? Midoriya asked as he held up the 2 random items. I thought those were the groceries I left home to buy, the dragon head said. It was seaweed and udon noodles, Midoriya said. Wait, what happened to the milk, bread, eggs, and ramen? The dragon said. Then he noticed Aizawa standing there, and his tail started to wag, and the claws started to tingle themselves more into the student's curls. Izuku, my precious mint, Eraserhead is staring at me. He's in the same room as me. He's my homeroom teacher, Midoriya said with a shrug. Still my second favorite hero in Japan and overall. Aizawa sighed. You'll get no extra credit from me for the flattery problem, child. The 2 Midoriya stared at him. My mint never flatters anyone for extra credit, or whatever, the older Midoriya said. You are just really cool with the way that you fight. We'll put a lot of my guys to shame. Then there is the way you use your capture scarf so flawlessly. Is it possible to get your autograph sometime? Aizawa blinked. His problem child also asked for his autograph, and now his father wants his autograph as well. Midoriya went to rub the back of his neck and whined, and a whine escaped the dragon's mouth as he noticed the scars on Izuku's arms. Izuku, what happened? My precious mint, why didn't you tell me about this? Can I heal him? Will it help? How deep do the scars go? What's the damage? Oh wait, that little girl with the horn, she's a mythical creature. She is a mythical fuck. She is a mythical creature mutation just like me. I can heal her too. No little girl deserves that many scars on her. He's talking about Eri. Aizawa glared at the dragon, and Midoriya leaned his head back to look at his father. How do you know about Eri? Aizawa asked. She was in that video with my fluffy mint fighting Bird Mask. Once I saw the video, I went into Papa Dragon mode and had to make sure my Minty boy was in fact okay and alive, older Midoriya said. Wait, my fight with Overhaul was released? Izuku asked as his face paled. The dragon hummed. Viral, too. One of my newer interns shared it with me to try to convince me to recruit the Green Lightning Kid. Izuku held back a snort. You've already claimed me as an intern once. We do analysis work studies and internships, Izuku said. Pardon me for interrupting this conversation, Aizawa said. But my boss said you were a pro hero. May I ask what hero you are? Aizawa said. Oh my kami. Of course. Izuku, why didn't you remind me of my manners? I haven't introduced myself to him yet, and I barged into his classroom just took you as my cuddle hostage. Ugh! Could I make myself into a bigger fool? Aizawa glanced at his student. The ramblings are genetic. The ramblings, muttering, hero fanboying, basically everything but my looks came from my dad, Izuku said. Only you've noticed he likes to analyze hero fighting style and support items while I analyze quirks and think of support items to help the quirk. Well, villains won't know what to do when these two... Oh, God. I know why Nezu allowed this to happen so smoothly now. If Nezu joins these two, the world domination will finally start. This is Code Black, Aizawa thought. But I am Midoriya Hisashi. According to Japanese records, I am the international hero known as the Guiding Light Hero Torch. Aizawa blinked before sighing and pinching his nose. Great. You mean to tell me that Bakugo attacked the top underground international hero? The problem child is your son, which explains so much, and you, of all people and heroes, want my autograph? Hisashi's eyes light up, and Aizawa swears his tail started to wag faster. Oh, I like the nickname, Problem Child. Whenever he does something reckless, I just call him Adrenaline Junkie. I'll gladly trade stories with you. No! Izuku yelled as his face became red. Ida and Todoroki would surely enjoy listening to Troublesome You, so they can join you so you can get their notes and the assignments. I'll happily trade stories with you on one condition. The two Midoriyas tilted their heads in opposite directions and gave a kitten look, which really... How can someone with a dragon head and tail, more like a dog, pull off? You You explain to me how exactly you plan on healing your son's arms and hands. Show a part of it to me, and if I approve, do the same to Eri. Of course, Hisashi said. Us mythical creatures being stick together. Hisashi stood up, not letting go of Izuku, and now holding him like a toddler. Come on, let's go. Dad, Izuku said with a whine. I can walk. Shh. I need my fluffy mint cuddles until I go back to my agency, Hisashi said, nuzzling his snout into Izuku's neck. Izuku tried to whine, but his laughter was far too loud, and happy for Aizawa to even think that his student didn't enjoy his father's over-affections. That is the end of Emergency Cuddles by RDM Fave Clips. I hope you liked it. I love this series. It's underneath Fluffy Minty Boy and his Dragon Daddy. How I found it on Archive of Our Own. I was looking up Midoriya stuff. Though I can't really remember how I exactly found it. Unfortunate, I know. Remember to drink water, eat, bathe, be safe. Have fun. Good night.